Welcome back to the Building Belmont podcast. I know that it's been a long time since we've produced an episode, but we have some exciting changes that we're going to share with you today, where the direction of the platform is going and what we hope to continue to do. But what will remain the same is we exist to connect people in our community. We have an amazing community here in Gaston County. Building Belmont, thank you to all of you that listened and followed along early on. We made some awesome connections and even produced a lot of awesome opportunities for businesses in our community. Some of them, if you go back to our library, you will see that they did not make it, but that's also a part of it. But thank you for all of your support along the way. I know that it's been a long time since we produced an episode, but it had been on my mind and been on my heart. It just had not been on my schedule until now, with some of the great changes that we're bringing and a great partnership that we've created that will continue to bring these connections to you in the form of podcast and obviously our social media. So the Building Belmont podcast will be no more as a brand. I've expanded my reach in Gaston County and what I'm doing with my businesses, and from the beginning wanted to bring a platform that served the community as a whole, our great county. So I'm excited to introduce to you the Many Threads platform. Many Threads, one community, obviously, is the tagline for Belmont. So we're honoring our roots of Belmont, but Many Threads is also the way that Gaston County operates. Every community, if you meet someone in Dallas, you're going to find they live in Belmont, or they have a business in Gastonia, or their family is from Cherryville. Everything is connected here. And we want to create a platform that helps to serve that, not only in highlighting businesses and thought leaders and just entertaining and interesting people in our community, but also just everyday people that are living life just the way you are here in Gaston County, that are shopping at the same grocery store, stopping at the same gas stations, and sharing those awesome connections. For those of you that didn't follow the Building Belmont podcast early, the catalyst for all of this was I was meeting great people and connecting with great people. You're going to meet another one of those today. And I felt I wanted to share those conversations with the community. It's very inefficient. It's impossible to have a conversation with everyone we have a conversation with on a day-to-day basis. But through this platform, we want you to feel connected to them. And we're excited about the opportunities, the businesses that will be formed, the partnerships that will be formed, just in general, the connections and relationships that will be made in our community. Where have I been? I started in March 2024, Alchemy Co-working here in downtown Gastonia. With that expansion into business in Gastonia, obviously wanted to take this platform countywide, as I mentioned before. But that has taken a lot of my time. I'm excited to share that we've expanded to a second location after being open just over a year. Thanks to Mecca Commercial. We have a second location in Charlotte now. We're continuing our mission with Alchemy Co-working of bringing connections together and being more than co-working, but connecting people to serve and build their businesses together. Also, since then, started South Point Social. We'll probably do an episode on that at some point. So for those of you, most of you being a listener base in Belmont, I hope you've been out, you got to enjoy. So I've been busy building businesses, but I have not forgotten about the heart and the intention of this platform. So with that, I want to introduce my co-host, co-partner, co-personality that's going to be continuing to drive this platform with me, someone who for many of you needs no introduction, but for those of you that do not or have not had the pleasure of getting to meet him, I want to introduce Sam Klein. Sam Klein has been a staple in the community. I think he's the most famous guy to ever come out of West Virginia, as he says it.
Yeah, probably.
Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings you here. I have Sam to thank for picking this platform back up. He also has a ton of connections. He's served a lot of people in the community, and we got to talking about this, and I shared, look, I want to pick this thing back up again. Let's do it together. So, Sam, what brings you to podcasting?
Well, Keanu, thanks again for just kind of being willing to bring this back on board. I think I am just excited to kind of explore all the people that we know together and stick with that many threads kind of dynamic. It was easy when we were talking about doing this to come up with a list of like 15 or 20 people that I was dying to talk to just about Gaston County. Obviously, you know, my main thing is commercial real estate. And so the nice part about buying, selling, and leasing commercial real estate is you get to meet a lot of people. And I've been fortunate to meet just kind of like the titans of this community, the same as you, and get to know them and, you know, sometimes help them with their venture. And sometimes just partner alongside them, and it's just it's been cool. And so that's what's bringing me to podcasting is like having an opportunity to create a platform and bring those people forward and just like listen to what they have to say. You know, just, you know, what brought me here, you know, I love the fact that you brought up West Virginia. I moved here with my family in 2013. I had about a 10-year career in project management for commercial construction companies, knew I wanted to do something different. In 2015, I got my license, bumped into the Presley brothers and Bob Clay. And, I always I had this idea that I was going to do some house flipping and, maybe rep myself on some deals. And I sort of tripped face forward into commercial real estate, loved it, couldn't get enough of brokerage, liked brokerage a lot more than I thought I would, and started to build a book of business. And, the Clays came here in the 80s and worked for Far Yarns, and Bob Clay was literally like the godfather of real estate in Gaston County. The Presleys came up, their father, Tony, came up with the idea behind CRCBR, was one of the major developers of South End back in the 90s. And so kind of like real estate royalty, and just have been very fortunate to be with that team. And I'm excited to have some of those guys on the podcast and hear what they have to say. And, just currently really trying to build the Mecca brand, continue to expand on the Mecca brand here in Gaston County.
Yeah. Well, in commercial real estate, especially with Mecca, given the relationship that it's had in the community for many years through Bob Clay and Eric Clay on their side, and then obviously joining Mecca and what Mecca's done in Charlotte, you get a front row seat to everything happening in the community before it even happens. So bringing in new business or new opportunities, new industry, commercial real estate is the front row seat to that. So I'm excited to get to, even personally, get to hear from your experience and the things that you're learning, the things that you're seeing, but being able to be ahead of it to share with the community. I've always felt, at least lately, that traditional media is somewhat lacking in the personal or local connection, right? We don't have local media anymore. I'm thankful for the Gaston Gazette. They've done some pieces on us, but they're USA Today. It's distant, whereas we are in the community. We're connecting with the community. So it's a more personal approach to local media.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think, sometimes there's ideas about what's going on and they're not necessarily true. And so it'd be a great thing to discuss some of the dynamics of a deal, as it's able to be shared. Sometimes we do have to keep things confidential for a client, but to roll it out to the community and be like, hey, this corner that you've been wondering about for 5 years, this is what's happening. And it's actually really what's happening. It's not, So yeah, I mean, I hope that there's space for that on the podcast, along with a lot of other things. I think one of the things I'm really looking forward to is bringing some of the businesses that I've helped secure space in Gaston County that wanted to be in Gaston County, and let them talk about their experience here, why they chose to be here. Because there's a lot of passion for that, which I love. And just kind of going back to the West Virginia comment. If you're from West Virginia and you're out and about, people say things like, "Did you grow up near the beach?" Or are you from Western Virginia, or something else that shows they don't understand where West Virginia is. We've always kind of had that underdog mentality. You come down to Gaston County and you just kind of find the same thing. Mm-hmm. We are not, Mecklenburg County probably has around 2 million people. Gaston County has about 220,000. But what we do have is this really cool mix of small towns, a lot of really great people who are salt of the earth, but also entrepreneurial and intelligent in their own right. And so to me, it's a lot like hanging out in West Virginia. It's been super cool.
Yeah. And we kind of connected on that just with our upbringing being a lot more blue collar. I come from the country in New Mexico, and it's similar. It's very forgotten. Like you said, the comments about West Virginia, I hear it all the time, especially around here. You were raised in New Mexico? You speak such great English. How'd you learn to speak like that? It's well, the same way that you did. But at the same time, I do connect with the blue collar mentality of Gaston County. I think the best people in the world are here. And if you filled my bank account with billions of dollars, I'm still going to live here. I love this community. I love the people. And I owe everything to this community. Coming from New Mexico, I didn't think that business or entrepreneurship was in the cards for me because it's just culturally not a thing there. This community is what changed it for me as to wanting to serve with this platform. And this platform has served me greatly in my own ventures by connecting with people genuinely, even now being able to connect further with you, although we go way back.
Absolutely.
This community is just amazing. I want more people to feel that and feel that welcomeness. I had a group in here today for the Commissioner School of Excellence. We are at Alchemy Co-working, by the way. And one of the students asked, how do you make connections? That was a hard question to answer because I know how I have, but how do you put that into a formula? My thing was just get out in the community and serve people. That's what it was. It was genuinely connecting with people, and then here we are. But a thread that we actually share, and the thread that I owe everything to, being the Wilson family, both Summer and Preston Wilson, you had a start with Preston Wilson. For those of you that don't know, Preston is the founder, along with his wife Summer Wilson, of William Henry Salon, Ballard's Barbershop, William Henry the Spa. But you had a connection with him early on professionally on the construction side, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a perfect story for this podcast. I initially interviewed with Andy Presley, who is much more of a gunslinger than his brother Rob, and I'm obviously connected to Rob professionally now. And Andy said, I don't really like standard interview procedures. Let's meet at the bar and have a couple of beers and talk. Right. I said, sure. It was probably like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. At the time, the pita wheel was Glenway. And so after a couple of drinks and a lot of talking, I ended up in front of Preston and negotiated a deal on the spot to help consult and try to help Bauer Trouse, that Andy had an interest in, work on a sort of commercial division. And so that's how I met Preston, was, an instant sort of insertion into his business. And that was a great experience. I don't think it was something that we did do some deals together, but ultimately I think he went in a different direction. That was okay. I was moving in a different direction as well. But Preston was one of my first great clients, actually. And he had some real estate he wanted to sell, and it was like, no question, no negotiation on commission, just like, hey man, go sell this stuff. And that was like one of my first great clients, and we just got to be friends and even partners on some stuff. And it's like the best playing card, as you know, is sort of mention his name. He's just so well liked throughout the community. So anytime I can work that into a conversation, I do. And we've just been able to, again, commingle on all kinds of things throughout the years. And he builds a very mean house, along with all the other stuff that he does. The one thing about his commercial construction, the portion of his business that is commercial, he can't do something typical. It's boring to him. We've tried to work through that, and it has to be this 150-year-old building that needs all this creativity. And then it's amazing to watch them come alive. Yeah. And obviously, I sold a property in Belmont last year to some clients, and the way that I sold them was brought them to Alchemy. And then I said, I don't have a dog in this fight, but there's only one contractor that you should speak to on a building in Belmont that's, over 100 years old. And that's Preston Wilson. And we're currently working through plans on that, and I'm super excited. So yeah, Preston is probably a thread to a lot of people within this community.
When I say Gaston County has the best people, in my eyes, Preston is the best of the best. He's Absolutely. Number one. The opportunities he's provided is amazing. They were the ones that helped me start my first business, and it was very organic. We became friends. They were the first friends we made. I didn't realize I had hit the lottery, and I didn't understand the blessing that was at the time. But Elevation Church is what brought me here originally, and then I fell in love with the community, and I met Summer and Preston through there. And so Preston, again, a lot of threads can be traced back to him. And this is becoming an impromptu Preston episode, which he's going to hate. But it's a great example for what we want to do for the community. Preston having a role or a small role in your start into where you are now. He had a major role in mine. They helped me understand I'm not meant to be an employee, that I'm a terrible employee, because I'd get bored easily. I usually had a 2-year life cycle. Corrections, law enforcement. I was in the military for 9 years, but my active duty was only 2. The rest of it was with the Guard. Finance for a year. Ministry for 2 years, and finally understood through them, you're not meant to be an employee. You're meant to build. And obviously they know that. They're great entrepreneurs themselves. And they gave me my start and helped me build my first business in 2020. And then when I had this vision for Alchemy Of course, I shared with Preston first, and he is very intentional about what he does and the construction and the work he does. So I shared it with him in 2021. It wasn't until 2023 that he finally came around and said, hey, I have the right building. It's time. And so I'm so grateful for that. But what Preston does for so many, you'll never catch him on a podcast. Maybe if it's like my last dying wish, he would get on a podcast, but he's not that guy to be public facing in that way. And yet his threads are everywhere in the community. And that is an example of what we want to do here is someone listen to an episode, hear about a story, hear about a connection, meet a person through the platform that ultimately changes their life and their legacy. That's my hope. So I wanted to bring it to Preston just to show how even through us, there's a common thread in what we're doing now.
I marvel at both of them. The decisions that they make are generally about what's best for the community. And most people make decisions about what's best for themselves. So a lot of times when he's purchasing a piece of real estate or making a move and he'll talk to me about it, it's like, well, it would be really beneficial to, and he'll list, a multitude of other people. When you're talking about threads, a great connector, has plugged me into a lot of the clients that I've been able to do deals with. So absolutely echo that sentiment.
Yeah. Well, we're working on a project together now. Alchemy is looking at our third location at Loray Mill, which kind of brought us back into each other's ecosystem. Although we always were connected, I owe so much to Mecca. Obviously had met Rob through Belmont Trolley back in 2021, and then met Eric when I was going through my first serious deal to build co-working over at the Dynamo 31 building where That's your correct. Office is. And Eric mentored me all along the way. And it was my first introduction into commercial real estate and how, you work and ultimately are paid. He didn't make $1 from me, but he was there and he was taking meetings and he was walking me through commercial real estate. And that's the kind of the Mecca experience as well. And then Rob brought the Charlotte location. So I have a great love and affinity and connection for Mecca because it's the same thing. What's the right connection? What's the right place? What's the right opportunity? But now we're working together on Loray. Loray Mill has been an amazing project. It's one of my favorites in the county for what's been done to it. But it's come under new ownership in the last 3 years, roughly.
I would say.
And you now have that listing on the commercial side with Mecca, and we're looking at putting a third location there. So it's a great example of the work that can be done together. Tribridge, the owner of Loray Mill now, and Josh, our point man there, great company to work with. They care about the community, where they invest, how they invest, not only in how their product returns investment, but how it serves the community. So it's a great example. We'll be working hand in hand. We'll have some, hopefully, stories around what's happening at Loray. They are expanding their apartment offering now. I think adding 100 more units roughly.
Yeah, that was always sort of the second phase. That building is just such a storied history, from like catching on fire to going bankrupt to changing hands a few times. And ultimately, Preservation North Carolina purchased that property and held on to it and kept it from being demolished. It was really at that level and held it for quite some time. I'm not sure exactly how many years, but the end product has just been amazing. The amount of effort that went in when it was first purchased and repaired and brought back to life, and the residential piece has always been the big success story and the easy thing to talk about. And the commercial piece has really lagged. Essentially what they made on the first 2 floors was something that they called the mall. And they had this idea that it was going to kind of be these kind of small retail shops that was supported by the residents above and the surrounding area. And it just isn't a retail spot. If you've been in it, it's beautiful, but it kind of lacks the foot traffic that's necessary. And so finally, we've been able to put our arms back around the commercial piece. And as you said, Tribridge is now willing to invest into some of the upfits and the different things that are necessary to get commercial deals done. And since taking over, I think we've got 4 deals done and another one on the way. Obviously super excited to have you there. Yeah. But it just has a cool factor for a professional office setting that's in my mind's unmatched. love the office I go to, but I would absolutely love to walk into Loray and go to work every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, being in downtown Gastonia, again, especially knowing that most of this base is in Belmont, I know it gets a bad rap, but we've been here now over a year, almost 2 years with construction and everything else. The changes that we've seen in downtown Gastonia are leaps and bounds from where it was. And it's a great opportunity. I think that people that look at an area as undesirable or, I don't want to be there, they're missing the opportunity. So it's fun to get to be a part of that underdog. Again, of course, we're going to gravitate towards the underdog, downtown Gastonia or Loray Mill. But what's happening in Gaston County, right, wrong, or indifferent, almost every community loves the growth except Belmont, and I understand. I sit in the traffic every day, so do you. We get it. But there's a lot of growth happening here, and I still don't think the secret is out in Charlotte entirely. Actually, since our Charlotte location, I like to go to the gym in Charlotte in the morning and beat the traffic and then go into our Charlotte location. And I'm talking to a guy who his wife works at Caramount at the new hospital, and he lives in South End. And she works the night shift. So at 5 p.m. every day, she's driving into Gaston County. Terrible drive. And then at 7 a.m., she's driving out of Gaston County. Terrible drive. And I said, man, well, why don't you look at a home in Gaston County? Well, and he was trying to be nice about saying, I don't want to live in Gaston County. But there's a lot of great opportunity coming here, and we hope to be at the forefront of those opportunities to serve you in the community. But it's not just about what Sam and I want to talk about. Look, we can both make friends with the wall, and we can talk about anything. We want to talk about what interests you, what serves you in the community as an everyday person that's growing and living here, from great nonprofits or organizations. We have Catawba Riverkeeper, who we've had John Searby on before. We need to catch up with him. He's now absorbed Stowe Botanical Garden as well. There's a lot of great things happening here, and we want to be at the front of that, always be a positive, unifying platform in our community. It's about connections. So that's what you can expect from us. I'm very excited to pick this back up again, especially alongside Sam and being able to serve the community again. Although that never stopped, this platform was a huge part of it, and it grew quickly thanks to all of you, and I'm excited to pick it back up again. We'll close with this, Sam. What do you hope this platform does for the community? What are you most excited about?
I think I'm most excited about exposing people that I know to the community that I think they need to hear from. People that, again, it's probably my favorite part of my job is being around these entrepreneurial minds and watching them take risks and grow and watching their business develop. And I want them to come on this platform and talk about, like, this is why I chose Gaston County. This was why Gaston County was important to me, because that to me is the unifying effect that you're talking about. This is a great place to live. It's a great place to be. And man, I'm honored to share studio space with you. I'm looking forward to it. Give
a couple of shout outs maybe of some people that you want to have on here so they can look forward to the call.
Man, I just got off the phone with Rob Presley. We were talking about, of course, a real estate deal. And I said, I'm about to record a podcast. I got to go. You're on the short list. He said, great. My buddy Nate over at Link Logistics is definitely a top pick. We got to have our man Ivory.
Yes.
Come on in. I actually ran into him at Everyday Market, grabbing a cup of coffee. He does a great job in the community, serving on city council, which is not an easy job. By any means, and then is out in the residential world doing a great job. I think probably my favorite thing about him is he's a great guy, doesn't take himself too seriously. He's just always got a smile on his face. So, but is also a consummate professional as well. So those are just those are a couple of guys we're going to reach out to right away, and he's someone I always enjoy sharing space with. Sure.
Yeah. A couple more. Jim Morasso, Web Custom Kitchen. He's excited to come and talk, and everyone loves Web. But when you spend time around Jim, you could be talking about anything. You just leave a better person. So I'm excited to have him on. A couple of others that are planting flags here in downtown Gastonia, talk about what Jim's doing with the Citizens National Bank building or other things like that. We have the connections, guys. So now we want to use them to serve you and to connect to you. So please comment, like, subscribe, do all the things that help the platform, but genuinely engage with us on social media. If there's something you want to know, actually, it makes me think, I think a good segment or a fun segment would be the rumor mill.
Yes.
The rumor mill.
Yeah.
We will send us all the rumors and we'll process them. And I promise you, if we don't know the truth, we know who knows the truth.
That's
and
right.
we can get ahead of those things. Because again, rumors can be a little bit divisive as well.
Absolutely.
And we can bring truth to those situations. And development takes a long time. One of my great friends and partners, John Church, who has been on the platform before on behalf of Chronicle Mill, It took him 10 years to develop Chronicle Mill. So when we were building Alchemy and it took me 3, I was like, man, this took so long. He said, dude, that's nothing. Because it just takes a while. You have to be very intentional. So we'll bring those connections. But even outside of business or construction or commercial real estate, again, we have the connections. We want to share them with you. So let us know what interests you and how we can use this platform to serve you and your day-to-day life. And welcome to the Many Threads platform.